In the following video, Matthew was watching his favorite show on television, and he had waited months for this specific episode to release. It was the finale, and he wanted to watch it with no interruptions, no distractions, but unfortunately, a certain spirit didn't agree with his ideas. The time was 2 a.m. in the morning when he noticed something in his room moving by itself, so he took it upon himself to record, and this is what he was able to capture on his camera.
Bro, so I'm watching TV, and this Broly statue was facing towards me, and it fucking turned to the right, bro. Literally just shifted to the right. Unbelievable. I couldn't get my fucking phone out fast enough to get it on film, of course. And now that I'm filming, it's not gonna do it. Bro, like, here's my fucking hand, bro. And it literally just started Bro. That thing just rocked. Bro, here's my hand. My other hand is filming, bro. No way. Oh my god. Oh my god. Bro. What the fuck? Yo.
At first, he made it clear that he didn't expect anything to happen whilst he was recording, and that this was more of a just-in-case precaution. Little did he know that something would actually happen again, though. This time the figure collapsed and started shaking and moving almost as if a person was controlling it. It doesn't take a genius to know that there were no items or forces acting upon it, though, meaning it must have been a ghost. Instead of trying to stop it, though, Matt decided that he was going to entertain it for due course. He saw the views that the video received and couldn't see past recording this ghost consistently. It is because of this that he is still suffering from this to this day. Cody was a young child and loved being home alone. Whilst his parents were not constantly over his shoulder, he could do whatever he wanted, and he really relished the freedom, until one night he took it too far. His parents were staying in a hotel for the week because they were on holiday, and they piled a lot of trust on Cody in allowing him to look after himself for such a prolonged period. They warned him to stay away from the basement at night, but being a teenager, he ignored this advice, and these were the consequences.
Okay, let's see. Here I am in my basement. Been trying to catch some paranormal things all day. Nothing's really going on. So, could have swore I just saw that door move. Could swear on anything I saw it move. It's moving. Can't you? Oh my god! What the crap? Gotcha. What? What was that? Oh my god! What was that? What was that? I gotta get out. I gotta get out of here. Oh my god!
The basement was an absolute wormhole for spirits, and the paranormal levels in there were ridiculous. No child should be exposed to poltergeists of that nature, although I guess Cody did inflict it upon himself here. Too frightened to inform his parents of what he did, Cody decided to keep the incident quiet and tried to sleep under the duvet that night, but couldn't. He locked the door and never entered that basement again. 1 o'clock in the morning was the time, and Saturday was the date, a time when most Bayeux people would be fast asleep in bed. However, not the man who was able to capture the video that I am about to expose you to. He had a terrible habit of scrolling through social media whilst he was in bed, and it became so bad that he would have doom scroll sessions that lasted times of up to 6 hours, leaving his nights restless. One particular time though, a poltergeist decided to do a favor in helping him quit this addiction, and it definitely did a great job. Have a watch.
Okay guys, I just saw these medals. Look. Do you see that? Oh my gosh. What in the world? Oh. What? There's the metals again. That door just opened by itself. My house is haunted. Seriously.
Strangely, objects inside of the room started moving on their own accord, and I don't just mean one object, I mean all sorts. The paranormal levels inside of this bedroom must have been off the scales, and the man reported a cold and spine-tingling feeling, which is typical in a situation where a poltergeist is present. After the incident, he came into contact with several ghost hunters, and one offered him a huge discount, so he decided to proceed with them. This whole event definitely deterred him from doom-scrolling so easily at night. In a recent video on the channel, we had a look at a clip provided by a YouTube channel called Anonymous Serial, and no matter how much I researched into the background of the channel, there was absolutely nothing that I could find. The only information available was that it was filmed on an Android in the dark and showed all sorts of hauntings. Well, what if I told you there was another haunting uploaded on the YouTube channel? It took place in the exact same house as the last clip, and a lot of new things are showcased.
I just heard a noise. The hell? Are you serious?
Just like last time, the person behind the camera was walking around seeing the ghost cause havoc in front of their very eyes. But this time, we discovered they were a male. As well as this, due to the video being captured during hours of daylight, the layout of the house was much more visible than before, but again, I have no clue about anything other than that. That is why all we can really do is pray that whoever this man is, he is okay, and I am sure the hauntings will stop soon. Daniel was enjoying the leisure of having a day off from work, and it was literally the perfect life. His two sons were both in school for the day, whilst his wife was out working, meaning that the entire household was his to play with. He decided that instead of having a crazy day, he was just going to enjoy the rare emptiness and have the television all to himself. However, He knew that there was something that had the potential to ruin it all. Ever since the family moved into this house, a specific door nearby to the television always rattled in the most inconvenient of moments, and he just knew it would happen. Take a look.
This has been happening ever since we've moved in. Ever since we've been moved in, this has been happening. It's a brand new building. I don't get it. Happens that often, the handle is even loose. Really, really fed up with this. It's all the time at the moment.
Just as Daniel predicted, the door handle wouldn't stop rattling, and it really frustrated him because it acted as a barrier between him and his peaceful day. All he wanted was one day where nothing blocked him from his leisurely lifestyle, but that is not what he got. Him and his wife are now exploring options to eradicate the ghost in question, assuming it is a ghost, but we all know it is. Rebecca Winkleman was an innocent woman who never had anything to do with the paranormal world until this point. She had done absolutely nothing to deserve the horrifying experience of facing an entity, and it happened in the most unpredictable of moments. She was in the kitchen doing simple tasks such as washing and drying the points when she noticed that the door started opening and closing. The strange thing was that nobody else was in the house, but she was able to catch it on camera. As I mentioned previously, Rebecca knew that nobody else was in the household, making it impossible for anyone or anything to have made this happen, at least things from the regular world. Later that night, the husband of Rebecca arrived home and reviewed the footage, but he was certain that a ghost wouldn't have caused it, or was it that he didn't want to believe it? Regardless, they are in contact with many experts seeking answers, and if you have any input, then feel free to use the comment section in case they see this. On May the 11th of 2025, so in really recent times, an apparition was caught on security that was so frightening they were all justified in staying off from work for 2 whole weeks. Usually, everyone on the security team would stay at their stations in twos, but when one of them spotted a potential threat, they needed their whole team to put an input on it. What they found was really surprising.
स्लो गरेँ है मैले फेरि धेरै स्लो हुन्छ भनेर छोडिदिनु इन्डक्टरमा त्यही गरेर गम्बुट लाछ है
मेरो गम्बुट रहेछ कपालले जिग्रिन ओ ओ कपाल उड्यो
यो मान्छे जे
कपाल उड्यो
छाया छाया जस्तो छ हैन
गम्बुटबाट माथि क्लियर देखिँदैन नि केही कपाल उड्दै गएको छ
कपाल उडिरहेछ हैन
फेरि यो गर्दा कपाल उडेको जस्तो हुन्छ क्या
अब त्यो क्लियर गर्दा अरु केटाहरु आउँछ सरलकै देख्छ फेरि
एकछिन त्यसलाई नै हेरौँ न त कपाल उडेको देखिँदो रहेछ साँच्चै.
The person that had potentially broken into the facility did not actually look human-like. It had a transparent figure, and the way it walked seemed way too smooth to be even closely comparable to that of a human being. The verdict from the majority of staff was that this was a ghostly apparition, especially considering that nobody came into the building that night, and there were no signs of security breaches. This situation was very mysterious nonetheless, and left all of the security officers in states of fear. No amount of training could have set them up for something such as that. Ian, known to his large YouTube following as the Midwest Ghost Hunter, has quite a self-explanatory job. He hunts ghosts. Unlike the vast majority of ghost hunters though, Ian does these explorations completely for entertainment and gets a strange buzz out of experiencing paranormal activity. He has been doing this role for years, visiting all sorts of haunted locations that are known as hellholes for paranormal activity. In the video that I am going to expose you to in due course, Ian was exploring an abandoned and heavily haunted asylum all by himself. No team, no friends, no nothing, just him and his trusty gear. This is a short clip that happened during the exploration.
Lulu, I know you're in here. Are you running around your room? Ooh. Whoa. Sorry. You just spooked me a little bit there. Are you making noise over here? Could you make another noise? Whoa. I'm trying to take a whole bunch of photos. I'm getting orbs. She is definitely in here. You have a very beautiful room, Lulu. Is that one of the cribs? The old cribs that you used when you were a mother? I'm very sorry about the horrible things that happened to you while you were here. Could you show yourself once again? I just got a bunch of orbs floating around that chair. It's as if she's sitting in it. Lulu, if that's you sitting in this chair. Oh my God. Holy crap. I just heard her out here. I just heard her voice echo through here. She is roaming this entire floor right now. But that was totally freaky. Alright, so I'm about to make my way out to the barn where Willis Cowden fell from that window. And boy, did it get nippy out here. Holy crap.
For those of you who have never watched a Haunter video before, you are likely wondering who or what Lulu is. Fortunately, you have me here to explain. Lulu was one of the many victims who suffered abuse inside of this asylum, and one of the few spirits who stuck around to haunt it for the rest of eternity. Ian was able to see this firsthand with Lulu, making it very evident that she was in the room, but surprisingly, she wasn't aggressive or really frightening in the slightest. Perhaps Ian reassuring her that he disagreed with the stuff that happened to her played a part in such a light scale of paranormal hauntings. Make sure to subscribe and like, because Ian's exploration of this asylum will run into future videos. James is one of our victims who knew that his house was haunted before recording his clip, but this did not stop him from getting frightened by the situation. The weird thing about James's story is that he purchased his property with the full knowledge of its haunted state, and here's why. He was in a very poor financial position and had to seek a small property. However, he was more of a spacious kind of guy, so searched for some potential bargains online, and soon enough, he found one. A pretty big home with a price as small as a terraced house, but the catch was, it was haunted, and it was not long until he experienced it firsthand.
We have come alive. These are accent pieces that are not meant to go unnoticed into the decor.
Alright guys, this is the place I stay. For the last 2 days I'm hearing things around. I'm really not sure what to say. Okay, let's find it out. I always feel something here. Something around, man. Seriously. You know, like the footsteps or something. Always. Always I hear that. Hey, did you hear that? Oh my god. Oh my god, man. Oh shit, look at the face on the pillow. Oh, what the fuck, man. Whoa. Let's move on.
He walked around the house whilst filming to see if anything would happen, and for a while, none of the spirits seemed to entertain his antics. However, towards the end, a nice-looking chair moved on its own accord, confirming to James that he had not bought a property that would be easy to live in. We can only pray that he is able to cope in the future. 11 years ago today, Ronnie Jewett discovered that the attic in his house was haunted, and he has not been the same since. He was a member of a relatively normal family, and whilst they did all find him to be on the more weird side of things, he was nowhere near weird, to the extent that he would be expected to be haunted. Ronnie didn't believe in any sort of religious or spiritual creatures, and had an "I'll believe it if I see it" mentality. Well, in this short video, he did see it, and he was very close to believing it.
Okay. Alright. See, I have no strings or nothing. This box of a fan keeps fucking moving on its own. No, I have like fuck. I don't see how I would have strings attached anywhere. I'm holding the camera with my other hand, so oh my god.
After this scenario, Ronnie tried to come up with all sorts of silly reasons as to why this was not caused by a spirit, but despite his efforts, nothing that exited his mouth was logical. He went as far as blaming rats in the attic for moving and causing vibrations that moved the box. But let's be real, that's a bit of a stretch. You and I both know that Ronnie experienced the paranormal, and the sooner he believes it is, the sooner he solves all of this. In the following video, a man who had been haunted for many years had decided that enough was enough and was going to perform an exorcism. The thing was that he was completely uneducated in this field, but thought that the sole belief in God that he had would be enough to enhance his skills. Unfortunately, knowing how to read a holy scripture and say your God's name was not enough for the man to banish the spirit from his home, and above all, just made everything worse.
In the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit, te pido, Señor, que me proteja en el nombre del Padre, Hijo y Espíritu Santo. Hoy quiero leer este salmo. Thus says the Lord, your Redeemer, the Holy One of Israel. I am the Lord of the God, who teaches you the prophet, who leads you by the way you should go.
In the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit, I command you to take these demons out of the house. In the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit, I ask you to leave my house, please. I command you to leave the house in the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. I am reading the Father's prayers. Leave this house now. Leave in the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. I command you to leave right now. In the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit.
The fact that this ritual was supposed to make the spirit leave this household is beyond crazy, because that is nowhere near what it did. The words of the man did nothing but aggravate it, causing screaming and a huge paranormal surge. Not to mention the fact that the cross flipped upside down, which confirmed that this was the cause of a demon, likely why it was angry when the scripture was read. Moving into a new house can be one of the most stressful periods in a person's life, and there are many factors that play into this. One of the biggest factors, especially when relocating to somewhere far away, is whether or not it is the right move for you. And I doubt that this is the case if you were to find out your new home was inhabited by the paranormal. Unfortunately, the father in the following video, called Clay, was home alone with his daughter in the new house alone, and he noticed something weird. Have a watch.
Hey guys, I just wanted to show you something. I just moved into a new house, and some weird things have been happening. Here, just let me show you. Pardon the mess. It's a little bit of a disaster because, like I said, we just moved in. But anyways, right here, I just want to show you my daughter is sleeping. Okay? Now watch. Here, this back room is where it gets weird. Just listen to this. Look at my cat reacting. Nope, not doing it. Hang on. She's still right here. I can't do this.
For some mysterious and unknown reason, the voice of his daughter could be heard coming from inside a random room, and Clay made it very evident that the child was not in this room. The poltergeist he had come across was clearly a mimic, which is an entity that can copy the voice of anything with ease in order to manipulate and scare its victims. Clay and his wife are currently in the process of banishing the spirit and are in negotiations with a local ghost hunter. Feel free to wish them luck in the comments. A woman in the Netherlands had recently moved to a new apartment in hopes of seeking a fresh start due to her old place of residence being haunted. In most cases, leaving a haunted house leads to the person never experiencing something paranormal ever again. But in a minority of cases, this is not what happens. That is because a ghost can be attached to a person as well as a property, and in the situations where the spirit follows them to their new home, it is because it is with the person. Anyways, this happened to the woman in this video.
Dat licht knipperde weer. Nou, dan uit in de hal. Oh, in het nieuwe huis. Dat. Oh, ik durf niet. Oh, ik durf niet. Verdorie. Helemaal klaar mee. Oh. Oh. Ik durf echt niet. Donder op, ik ga er niet naartoe. Ik bel wel iemand.
She had heard some noises coming from behind the door with the flashing lights and took it upon herself to go and investigate rather than stay in the room and not find out the source. To her dismay, there was nothing causing the sounds, and she realized that this may have been the worst possible outcome. Her ghost had followed her. When the sound was followed up by a swinging light and an apparition, she knew that her theory was confirmed and wanted to try a way other than moving house to solve the issue. In order to save money and not pay a ghost hunter, she is currently talking to a priest and prays that she will see a day without a demon beside her. On September the 10th of 2024, something was captured on a street-side camera that made most people question their sanity. The specific time was around 9 p.m., and the only reason that the camera was checked by the local forces was because an incident had happened on the street that night. There were 5 witnesses, but that was not enough when there was a literal camera on site. Well, what if I told you the police got the witness count wrong and missed one?
Perhatikan bayangan di pojok kiri.
If you look closely, there was clearly a spirit in the middle of the road, but what it was doing is beyond me. The reason we know it was a spirit rather than a shadow casting was because it was standing still the entire time, and none of the humans in the area were idle. Furthermore, the way in which it fled the scene was ghost-like as it drifted down the road, but I guess we will never know for sure if a poltergeist is what this camera caught. Gemma was visiting a group of her friends who lived in another part of Portugal that they did. She was fortunately allowed to stay in her best friend Megan's house for her stay, which prevented her from having to fork out the money for a hotel, and this is what really allowed her to go on such an adventure. There was something that Megan hid from Gemma that might have led to her cancelling the entire trip, and this information was that the house was haunted and the moment that Gemma found out what was caught on camera.
It's me. I'm getting ready to say goodbye. I'm going back to Florida. Miss.
Did you see that?
Oh my god.
Did you see that?
Oh my gosh.
Happening here.
What the heck was that? And there's nothing here.
So sometimes these things open like by themselves, and it's, oh my gosh, you gotta see this.
Oh my gosh.
Like, I'm scared.
Fortunately, Gemma was leaving the city the next morning anyway, hence why she was sending a goodbye message at the beginning, but she had no clue what the video would entail. From a running child to a drawer opening by itself, it was horrifying for Gemma, and even managed to insert fear into Megan, who was meant to be used to all of this. In many of our recent videos, we have included a clip from a ghost hunter known as the Midwest Ghost Hunter, but his real name is Ian. In all of these videos, he has been exploring the exact same place, a haunted manor, and we are finally nearing the end of this exploration. Every piece of content that came from this search has been amazing, and this one that you are about to watch, filmed after a spirit turned the lights on, even gave Ian a spook. Take a look.
Holy crap, that's a shock to the system. I've been walking around the dark for hours. Susie, did you just turn this light on? I took it off the infrared just to show you guys what I'm seeing right now. I can see a lot better now, so thank you for turning the light. Oh, I can't see. Oh my god, I am getting really freaked out in here. Jeez Louise, it's almost like she's toying with me. Are you having fun messing with me? It's okay if you are, I mean, that's why I'm here. So thank you. Is there anything else you'd like to do?
For some reason, just moments are turning the lights on. Susie, the spirit in question, turned them off again in an attempt to frighten Ian. The attempt was a success, and he was left terrified, just like you should be left terrified for my next video, because a video from Ian will appear again. Subscribe so you don't miss it. Basements can be useful in all sorts of different ways, and I seriously question how some families let them pass by without using them. Roy, the man who owned the basement in the following video, used it as a storage unit for all sorts of things, and it really did help him store way more items in his house than he would be able to. Every day he would come in and out of the basement using items and placing them back, but one day he heard some banging from down there. He called his wife's name, assuming that she was searching for something, but when he failed to hear a response, he knew that something was up and approached the basement. Once he reached the bottom of the stairs, he realized that nobody was in there, and nothing evident was on the floor that could cause such a sound. Roy stood still for a few moments, questioning what the noise really was, but eventually decided to turn around and go back up the stairs. It was at this moment that the banging sound recurred, and the wooden horse started to rock on its own accord. Out of fear, Roy ran back up the stairs, and when his wife arrived home, she was informed about the incident. They both agreed that it was strange and something must have been wrong, but came to the conclusion that they should not take any action and just hope it was a one-time thing. To their dismay, the very next day Roy heard knocking from the garage this time and knew he needed to investigate once again. As he predicted, the same thing happened again. He gave in and followed the sounds, and when he did, he witnessed an item moving on its own accord. Roy and his wife are currently in contact with several ghost hunters over banishing the ghost, and all we can do is sit back and hope they successfully make their house pure of evil again. The following series of videos was captured by a child who was home alone, and it is always sad to see people under 18 fall victim to ghostly activities. Seeing an innocent adult suffer is frightening enough, but when a poltergeist takes it upon itself to target children, it takes things way too far. And whilst the kid in his saga was 14, that is still young nonetheless. The first clip took place when the teenage boy heard some knocking noises around the house. They eventually led him to the bathroom, and the rest is as shown. But before I play the clip, it is important for you to know that your paranormal clips can be included in one of my future videos. All that you have to do is email hauntedofficial@gmail.com a description of what happened alongside the attached clips, and I will give you a guaranteed feature in one of my videos. Anyway, here is the clip.
Oh! What was that? What was that? It's in the bathroom. Something came from the bathroom. What was that? What was that? Something came from over here. Let me see if I can match the sound with anything. No. No. That was it. Someone banged on my keys. Someone banged on my keys. The chair! The chair is moving. Gotta stay inside. The chair moved.
The spirit started to bash the keyboard located on the desk of the teenager, and he was intelligent enough to work out what it was doing. However, shortly after he drew this conclusion, the chair behind the desk moved without any human interaction. This was not all that happened, though. Have a watch.
This is not fake. I'm home alone, and all this stuff is happening too. Did you see that? The refrigerator door opened. Oh! The refrigerator door opened. Oh! The door just closed. Oh my. What's that? Okay. Gotta get up. Man, I was kind of pushed there.
This time, the poltergeist decided to mess with doors and opened the refrigerator and also closed a random door. This was spooky for obvious reasons, and the poor boy was in audible shock. He was debating leaving the house, but out of fear that his parents would be angry, he decided not to. This turned out to be one of his decisions on the dumber side of things.
What was that? The door. I don't know what that was. I'm gonna go look in there. Oh, it's cold. Something must have touched it. What was that? Oh, it's cold. Let me just... Oh. Okay. Nobody's here. What was that? Whoa! I think he locked me in. He locked me in. Help! 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 He locked me in. He locked me in.
Help!
Fortunately, the boy was able to escape the room, but it was likely that the poltergeist allowed him to. It was obvious that this spirit was more powerful compared to others than we have seen on this channel, and the footage was sent to an exorcist who came over without any delay. All you need to know is that the house is now cleansed, and this story has a good ending. Movies are a great pastime, and Josh Ribillard believed in this heavily. Unlike most men, he didn't turn to the world of video games when boredom overcame him and opened up Netflix instead. And this is exactly what he was up to just before he filmed the clip that I am about to expose you to. He was browsing on the homepage looking for an interesting film to watch when all of a sudden, his son's wooden horse started to rock without anybody being mounted upon it. Unfortunately, he did not catch it on video, but took out his camera in case it happened on a second instance as he wanted proof. This is what he managed to capture.
Okay, so I just came down here to go watch a movie, and I swear that thing was moving again. Maybe it was just me, but it definitely seemed like it was starting to move or about to move. Yeah, there it goes again. I don't even know what to do at this point. This is not even mine, it's my nephew's. They just left it here. This happened yesterday too, but I didn't record it. It'll start, then stop, start, then stop. See? And start again. Great.
The horse rocked back and forward as if somebody was on it, but it was beyond evident that nobody was. Furthermore, it was clear that there were no strings attached to the horse, and it was doing this seemingly by itself. But we all know what that means, because of course, wood cannot move. A spirit must have been having some fun with it, presumably a child. Winston was a construction worker, and he really enjoyed his job. The pay was fabulous considering he had fun whilst he was on shift, so it was literally perfect for him. But despite all of this, what you are about to see was so bad that it almost made him quit. It took place in an abandoned restaurant that a new company had purchased the land of and wanted it renovated. They contacted the company that Winston worked for to do the job, and they were there within 2 days, however. They would have charged a much higher price if they knew just how haunted it actually was.
The kitchen, like the kitchen area.
It is. They're real quiet about it.
I will not go down.
Oh, it's cold right here. See that over me? Hello? I'm not going up there. Definitely not going back there. Oh wow, it is really cold right here. What was that? No. I don't think it's happy we're here. Oh my God, dude. Oh, holy. Dude, there's...
A mysterious figure was sitting in the corner of this room, and before you call it a coincidental light casting, it was obviously far from that. When Winston entered the room, the shadow vanished, and furthermore he felt a cold and dark feeling in the room, which is a telltale sign of a spiritual presence. I don't know what you think, but I am certain that this was a paranormal encounter. Nothing really went on in Newtown, Sydney, and it was seen as a rather chill area at the time that the upcoming clip was filmed. The niche area that it happened in had not become host to many crimes at all over the past 2 years, and was a really safe place for families to live. Hence why Joey and her children decided to move there when the man of the house left them to fend for themselves. One night, Joey decided to go clubbing with her friends, and she got a little bit carried away with herself, so ended up setting off home at 3 o'clock in the morning. Her drunken state caused her to think that she was hallucinating the whole situation, but due to her trusted camera, she managed to confirm that this was not the case.
I don't know if you can hear that, but there's like a banging. Oh no.
At first, whilst the footsteps were coming from behind the fence, she thought that there was a real person in her pursuit, and being a lady at 3 a.m. without any other people around, that would not be a good situation to be in. However, moments later she heard the footsteps right beside her and quickly turned her freeze response into a flight response and went as quickly as she could. Despite being drunk, she was able to escape the situation and make it back home in one piece. But the next day, she decided to do something very dangerous. Joey took her car back to the same location at 3 a.m. once again, in order to investigate what had happened with her full conscience and ability to quickly get out of there. It is safe to say that she would not survive a horror movie, but here is the clip.
I don't think I should go in there. Holy fuck.
The ground literally shook, and it sounded like some sort of humongous creature had leapt from the tree that was shaking vigorously. The strange thing was that she did not see anything, and based on the pure volume of the sound, it should have definitely come with a visual being. Regardless of what it was, Joey quickly got back into her car and made sure she never came across this area at such a late time again. Make sure to put what you think the source of this noise was down below, but in my personal opinion, there is only one answer: a poltergeist causing fear. The award for the most featured man in Haunter videos has to go to Ian, also known as the Midwest Ghost Hunter, and this is because of the sheer amount of videos that he managed to upload to his YouTube channel. They are all packed with haunting incidents, and this one was no different. It took place in a haunted asylum that he decided to venture into all by himself, and the following video occurred shortly into the exploration.
All right, we are locked in the Randolph County Asylum. I'm not gonna lie, I've got a bad feeling about this place. Not because there's anything evil, but just all the dark history and just the countless amount of spirits here and activity. It's like I'm in this vast abyss. All alone. But I'm gonna do what I always do. I'm gonna ghost hunt, and I ain't gonna run, no matter what. Huh? Whoa. Jesus Christ. That almost looked like a doppelganger. She's wearing the same clothes I'm wearing. If there's any spirits in this hospital, could you give me a sign of your presence? Gotta find my flashlight. Holy shit. There is a wicked windstorm going on right now, and I am sure that'll only add to the paranormal activity tonight. Hello? If there's anyone here, could you give me a sign? I'm gonna try to take some photos. Catching a lot of orbs floating around in here. Are there spirits in this room right now? Is that what I'm seeing?
This clip showed his entrance into the asylum, and it is rare that you can capture Ian so terrified at such a short time into his adventures. You could tell that he truly sensed that something else was inside of the place with him, and this was confirmed with the fact he managed to catch some ghostly orbs on camera. Of course though, Ian's videos include a lot of clips, and this is only the beginning, with one more being showcased in this particular video. Take a look.
There's more orbs over here. Where are you right now? Could you show yourself? Whoa. Something just hit the floor. What the heck is that? Did you just throw this? Or did it just fall? What is that? It's like a gourd of some sort. Where did this thing come from? Right there. Whoa. Dude, there's like a whole dish of the things. And look at that. There is no way that just fell. There is definitely no way. I mean, look at the distance it would have had to have gone. I mean, I know I've been walking around and like this floor, it's a little shaky. So, I mean, that is possible that maybe me walking caused it to fall. I don't know, that is strange. It's just the distance it fell that's throwing me off. Put it back in here. If you just threw one of those gourds, could you move?
Some form of food was launched from the bowl, and it made a thud sound, which is what allowed Ian to notice what had happened. Thus could not have been a natural collapse, because there was no presence of wind in the room, and without that the food could not have landed so far away. Subscribe to my channel so that you do not miss future videos, because this is only the beginning of a long exploration for Ian, and I am sure that you will be seeing clips from him in almost every video. A trio of siblings were all in their parents' room when they swore they witnessed a chair rocking without any human interaction. It was as if someone or something was sitting inside of it, causing the phenomenon to happen. But due to the clear view of the front and back of the chair, it was obvious that nothing visible actually caused this. That beckons the question though, what did? And I think we all know the true answer, but I'll let you have a watch beforehand.
Okay, I'm here with my cousin Braden, my cousin Benton, and my brother Karsten. And this is our parents' bedroom. and we've been catching this rocking chair moving by itself, and nobody believes us. But we're all here at home alone, and we're gonna see if we can catch it now. Somebody want to ask it to move?
Move.
I will.
Please, sir or ma'am, please move the chair if you can. Or male or female, move. I'm scared. Me too.
Probably ain't gonna do it with us sitting here.
Oh, I'm so scared, cousin. Why is the trash, cousin?
Is it moving a little bit?
Oh my gosh. It is. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my. Oh. Oh. Man, that's so creepy. Why do we have to stand here? Huh?
Wait, hold on, wait. Somebody go see if somebody's behind there.
I will.
Let's go. How do we have to do this?
Oh, no one's behind there. Oh,
Let me
gosh.
see. Let me get it on
gosh.
camera.
Oh gosh.
But it is moving. And nobody's back there.
I'm so scared.
And plus, you can see in the mirror. Nobody's standing behind there while it's moving.
Oh, wow.
Oh, it's slowing down now. Is it gonna do it anymore for us? Nope. Stop. So there we go. We got it on camera.
It was evident that a spirit caused this from the fact alone of the chair moving after the siblings asked it to. They were all frightened by this, but due to being a trio, they were able to feel much less fear than usual in such a circumstance, and luckily caught it on camera. They sent the video to their mother and uploaded it to YouTube to see what they should do next, but the vast majority of people online didn't believe them, so offered no aid. If you have any advice for these kids, then leave it in the comments so that if they come across the video, they can get the help that they deserve. Ghost hunting in terms of a paid profession is something that I can get behind, because the amount of money that people get paid for their work in this industry is surreal. However, when people do this as a hobby rather than a job, things begin to feel strange. Alonzo was a ghost hunter, far different from the rest, and instead of using his love for the paranormal as a tool to make a living, he simply had fun with it. Whether it was using Ouija boards inside his own house, or exploring others and helping them out free of charge, he was happy to do it, and this is why Alonzo was seen as a bit of an outcast. Regardless though, he continued to help people in haunted trouble, and the following video comes from one of his house visits. Before I show you the video though, if you have any paranormal clips and would like me to break them down in a future video for you, then send the footage to drokumedia1@gmail.com and give me the story of what happened. Now, have a watch.
Aquí hay muchas manos, para que vean que aquí hay manos. Dime cómo te llamas. ¿Por qué estás aquí? Uy, algo le están pegando. Vean todas las manos que hay aquí. Vean todas las manos que hay aquí. Uy, ¿dónde estás? ¿Qué es eso? ¿Qué es eso? ¿Qué es eso? ¿Estás aquí conmigo? ¿Cómo te llamas? ¡Ay, se volteó! ¡Ay, se volteó! Volteó la cabeza, para. Volteó la cabeza. Uy, no manches, la cabeza la volteó. Uy, me dio miedo. ¿Cómo te llamas? ¿Cómo te llamas? Vamos a levantar esto. Mira lo feo. Manches, está llorando, amigos. Está como llorando. Vean. Está como llorando, miren. Está como llorando, miren. ¿Cómo te llamas? Si estás aquí, quiero que me digas tu nombre.
The first weird part of this video was that Alonzo's device was indicating a presence and trying extremely hard to translate what it was trying to say, but unfortunately failed. This was not the spookiest part though. The spirit also decided to move the mannequin, and Alonzo made it very evident that there were no attachments on it. This video was the act of a ghost, but it was Alonzo. He looked back and enjoyed it. One day, James was doing the innocent activity of eating breakfast when he got a really weird and eerie feeling out of nowhere. It felt like he was being stared at deep into his soul, so he decided to do the most logical thing and look around. His head scanned the room, but was drawn to a counter, and to the surprise of James, a cup from this counter launched itself across the room as if a person had thrown it. It was after this that he started to record the incident, just in case anything else followed, and he did the right thing because it did.
Off the table. Cleaned up all the glasses you can see. But I'm home alone, and even when I'm not home alone, all this stuff seems to happen. What was that? I'm not feeling too well. You know what? I gotta calm down. I'm gonna find out what this is. Really? Really? Nobody's here. You coward. What? Wow, the lights turned off by themselves. I'm scared. What was that? Did you see that? Did you hear that? This is scary. Let me scan around. I really should call out a paranormal investigation team. Oh my gosh. It's cold. It's freezing cold. I can't touch it. It's so cold. I'm so scared. Really? Really? I can't deal with this anymore. I'm leaving.
This was a big step up from a moving cup, and all sorts of hauntings happened within a short period of time, which is referred to as a paranormal surge. The most prominent incident was when the stool collapsed to the ground on its own accord, and happened to be freezing cold in the aftermath, which anybody who knows anything about ghosts knows is a huge giveaway of a presence. James contacted a ghost hunter after this incident, and surprisingly negotiated a low price, so they are expected to come within 2 weeks. All we can do is pray that the hunt turns out successful. Mark and Shannon were a happy couple living in a not-so-happy environment, and it was quite sad to be completely honest. They were perfect for each other and could not wait to live as one. But when they started to rent their first property, they had no clue that it was going to be haunted. Every time one of them was left alone in the house, a huge paranormal surge would happen, and luckily for you, Mark decided to record his entire evening once, just to prove to some doubters that this phenomenon was actually happening to them, and I managed to find the footage. Here you go.
Something's not right now.
I don't know what it is. Something is not right, dude. What is it? What's up there? What is it to you? My adrenaline's pumping, my heart is racing. I've already seen some fucking weird shit.
The spirit opened the kitchen cupboard on video, and it was obvious that no natural thing caused it to happen. Mark sent the video to all of his friends that doubted him, but to his dismay, none of them believed him, and thought he was more of a weirdo for pretending and setting up a fake experience. Do you think the experience looked fake? Let me know in the comment section, but I personally think it looked authentic enough to believe. On February the 5th of 2025, Maddie was at home when something spooked her so much that she had to evacuate her house and hide in her vehicle whilst waiting for her family to come and protect her. It's important to note that before this event, she had never experienced anything paranormal, but when she noticed a shadow figure moving in her yard, she knew that it was far from a natural light casting. Here it is.
I understand this is probably going to sound insane or look like a blur to you, but I was crying. I watched this thing move across in my rearview mirror when I was driving back of my car to the front. I could see it from outside and in the mirror. I got out of my car, like staring at me, but if I looked away, I couldn't find it until it was closer. I have never felt fear like this. The hair on my arms was standing up. I was crying on the phone with my mom, waiting for my stepdad to come over because I couldn't believe this is what I really saw.
While poor Maddie was sitting in the locked car, the shadow figure continuously stared at her, and every time she looked away from it, it supposedly got closer. It was genuinely like a horror movie for her, and she even suffers from PTSD because of it. Beyond this point, she becomes scared by the most normal shadow castings and thinks that the spirit is haunting her again. There have been no verified sightings of the spirit from Maddie since, though, and we are safe to believe that the only long-lasting effect from all of this is her trauma. A tourist called Mitchell was visiting Scotland and decided that he was going to take a leisurely stroll down a nice and long road. When he reached a certain point, though, he began to hear some distinct banging, but assuming it was just a human using a hammer or something, he ignored it. As he got closer and closer to the sound, though, it intensified, and the rate in which it happened only got louder. It was when he reached an abandoned building that he realized it must have been the source. Curiously, he walked around the building to see if he could figure out what was causing the banging, and sure enough, he was successful. This is what he found.
It is a ghost.
It's just a wind.
Wait. Must be a ghost.
No, it's a wind.
No, it's a ghost. There's nothing else there. What else could it be?
See? Really?
I told you it was haunted.
Now, there are several reasons why this could have been faked, but I am about to debunk them. First of all, the wind could have easily caused the door to move, but if this was the case, why would it have stopped the second another noise was made behind the door? Secondly, there could have been an animal or person behind the door barging against it, but no matter how far you zoom into the crack, absolutely no movement was visible. Everybody in their right mind knows that this place was haunted. The man who recorded the following video is actually a viewer of the channel who submitted the content to drokumedia1@gmail.com in order to be featured, and if you want something similar, then make sure to do the same. A few years ago, he made a very small YouTube channel where he would read scary stories in the location that they happened in, and it was quite a cool idea, I must say. After the event that I am about to show you though, he was forced to give up entirely and never wanted to do something of this sort ever again. It took place in Jerome, Arizona, in the Jerome Grand Hotel, and it was extremely creepy. He had just finished reading a letter from a subscriber when this happened.
Okay.
The viewer was woken up by the sound of feet running across his hotel room, and he instantly turned on his mobile phone camera, followed by his flashlight. There was a loud noise that struck fear into him, but then out of nowhere, the tap turned itself on. This had to be a spirit rather than some sort of pipe issue because the handle had physically turned, meaning something had to have moved it, and it was evident that nothing else was in the room at the time. This experience was very spooky, and all we can do is hope that they haven't experienced anything of the sort since. I won't forget to say thank you to the kind viewer who submitted this, and the email is on screen if you want your clips to be in our future videos. The following video was captured by Elias Samuel, a young man who had only just got a grasp of living by himself. He had always dreamt of leaving his parents' consistent company because they were extremely strict and had a close monitor on him, but 2 weeks into being alone, he wished he had them helping him again. Have a look.
He tratado de acomodarlo ahí mejor, sí. Como les digo, no es por adorarlo o algo así, sino simplemente para tenerlo, ya que ahí pues no se veía muy bien, ¿verdad? No, puede ser, otra vez. ¿Vieron eso, amigos? A esto me refería. ¿Vieron? Esto es lo que yo me refiero, a lo que les he estado comentando ahorita precisamente. Pero amigo, Dan, Pierre, como les dije, para mí no, el dinero no es lo más importante, ya que puedo tenerlo a mi alcance, ¿sí? La mayoría de la gente es lo que piensa primero.
Strangely, something fell off from the cabinet, and Elias was very fortunate to have caught this phenomenon live on camera. He planned to send the videos to his parents to see what they thought he should do, but realized that would be a chance for them to call him a hypocrite after saying he was excited to look after himself. It was because of this that he made the independent decision to take the Ouija board out, and he stood in front of it for a good 10 seconds, deciding whether it was a smart idea before this happened.
Eso se acaba de caer y la verdad sí, no sé si todo esto, pues, yo haciendo mal, ¿verdad? Por estar transmitiendo esto a ustedes, ya que, pues, ustedes son unas personas ya, digamos, inocentes a todo este tipo de cosas. No creo que tampoco quiero dañarlos o algo así, ¿me entiendes? Puta madre. Perdón, amigos, por el vocabulario. No mames, cabrón. Qué pinche miedo. No, la verga. No, creo que voy a tener que dejar de transmitir porque no es bueno esto. No se vaya a salir. Qué pinche miedo, cabrón.
The board, alongside everything around it, collapsed to the ground in an aggressive fashion, and poor Elias had no clue what to do next. He left his house and went to his grandma's for quite some time, but this is the last that we heard of this story. Carlos is a man who has appeared on this channel several times now, and I think it is time to call him a regular. He appears so much because he is more than aware that his house is haunted and is on the mission to obtain as much evidence as possible to prove this, so he is literally always recording. The video that I am about to show to you took place upstairs, and he was doing one of his routine checkups, where he would film until something actually happened, and this time, something came about far quicker than usual.
Hola amigos de TikTok. Al parecer se fue la luz en toda la colonia Amixes. O sea, vean, literalmente no hay nada de luz alrededor, más que hasta allá se ven unos puntitos. Empecé a grabar porque se empezaron a escuchar ruidos como siempre. Se escucha algo.
In the room across from him, some sort of object next to the ring light fell to the floor with an inexplicable amount of power. It was blatantly obvious that nothing was attached to the item and no visible force had acted upon it, and due to the history of Carlos's house, it was obvious that the cause of this came from the spiritual world. Abdul knows and has known the situation in his household for a long time, and it is far from a good one. Despite having no prior belief in a spiritual world that could connect to the regular world at will, his house had ended up being haunted, and this was extremely odd to both him and experts. It is very rare that people who do not believe in ghosts to become a consistent victim of ghosts, but for Abdul, this is not the case. And it is safe to say that he is a believer now, and the clip that is following is going to show you exactly why this is the case.
Voy a grabar en vivo. Son las 8:14 de la noche y solamente voy a dejar grabando con mi flash, la cámara frontal, y voy a apagar la televisión. Bueno, parece que ya está comenzando a grabar en vivo. Bueno, ahorita 26 de agosto, ya siendo de noche, pues voy a comenzar a grabar en vivo y a sugerencia de muchos de ustedes que me lo pidieron, pues también estoy aquí colocando la harina. Voy a cerrar la puerta un momento. Aquí vamos. ¡Hola! ¡Hola! Necesito hablar contigo. Necesito hablar contigo. Ya me voy, ¿eh? Hace un frío horrible. Hace demasiado frío. Madre. Déjame salir. Chingados. Las campanas se están moviendo. Esto parece una pesadilla. Una maldita pesadilla. No comprendo. No entiendo. Uy. De verdad, estoy muriendo de frío. No.
All around the house, all sorts of things were happening, and I would like to highlight some of the creepiest. To begin, the fact that the door started banging heavily back, and when Abdul walked in the boxing punching bag was moving, said a lot about the spirit that he was dealing with. Furthermore, the poltergeist was incredibly strong because it was able to hold the door closed whilst Abdul was attempting to open it, and it is not a common occurrence where a ghost can out-physicalize a human. After this instance, Abdul's house almost instantly went back to normal, as it usually did after a paranormal surge, but it was clear that his dog was still uneasy. It walked around the house sniffing almost everything it could, and it could not get enough of the chair that the big stuffed animal was sitting on. For hours it stayed in the room, and Abdul tried all sorts of incentives, including treats, to encourage it to leave, but none of them worked. It was moments later that Abdul found out why it was so intriguing. Have a watch.
Yo he estado jugando mucho tiempo con Cody, pues parece ser que se divierte con él. ¿Qué pasó, Milo? ¿Vas a jugar con Googie? Vente, Milo. Ven. Vámonos. Ven. Vente. Ven.
When the dog turned away from the stuffed animal to come and give Abdul a greeting as he had just re-entered the room, the teddy bear slowly moved its head until it was looking directly at the hound. This was inexplicable, and clearly nothing visible had caused it, so this event remained a mystery. The man in the following video had purchased a doll for his daughter at a local garage sale, and the last thing he expected was for it to be haunted. It was priced at a decent cost, coming in at $8, and not a single part of it was damaged. Furthermore, the woman selling it appeared kind-hearted and charitable, making it unexpected for her to sell a doll that she knew to be haunted to another family. Regardless, she had done so, and it did not take long for the man to realize the doll was far from normal, but he needed some proof. He tied the doll in chains with a padlock to make sure it could not break free, and placed it in front of a Ouija board for some interrogation, but it was not up for this, and made that clear.
Banda, pues este es mi estudio. Acá en este cuarto es donde pasan cosas paranormales, cosas muy extrañas. Como pueden ver, acá tengo a mi tabla, siempre con mucho respeto. Él es Charlie, tengo un video entero, un podcast entero de él, porque tiene una historia muy buena. El fondo es de Art, me disfracé de él. Y el fondo pues, es Freddy, como pueden ver. Como pueden ver, estoy solo y esto pasa a cada rato. Quiero que vean que no hay nadie. Quiero que vean que debajo de la mesa no hay nadie. Quiero que vean que no hay ningún hilo, que no hay ningún corte. Esto pasa seguido. Quiero que en verdad noten que no hay corte, que no hay hilo, que no hay nada abajo de la mesa. Esto se está volviendo normal para mí. Está encadenado y tiene su agua bendita. Cada 3 meses se tiene que hacer unos rezos y bendecirlo. Quiero aclarar algo, no es por la tabla. Entonces voy a cortar este video y luego les enseño todo lo que tengo.
Before the man could even ask the doll, or the spirit controlling the doll, any questions, it moved its head to face away from the Ouija board, making it clear that it did not want anything to do with the questioning. If it was not binded to chains, then who knows what its real reaction would have been, but due to this, we know that it would have certainly taken its chance to try to escape. The worst part about a spiritual presence is that they cause all sorts of disturbances, and it gets to a point where it isn't the fear factor that makes you dislike the situation, rather, it's the inconveniences. This was the case for Steve and his wife, who were both going through it when it came to their poltergeist, and it was doing its absolute hardest to make all sense of peace leave their house completely.
Hello? Whoa.
It all started inside this closet and below the house in this crawl space, but has since moved all around the house.
We go again?
And nothing. And has even started to get really aggressive.
Whoa. Jesus.
It's gotten so bad that Kristen decided to leave temporarily.
I love you. Love you too.
Not only did it continue to knock on every single door in the household, but it also closed them by itself, making this spirit a definitive menace to society. Things got so bad that the wife of Steve felt she had to leave the house to get any peace, and this sparked his motivation to make a change. When part 2 is uploaded, we will include it in a future Haunter video, so subscribe. Ian, known as the Midwest Ghost Hunter on all of his social media accounts, is a full-time and professional ghost hunter who uploads his findings onto YouTube, where he makes a decent living. From places you would least expect to be haunted to the most obvious places on the planet. Ian has explored them, and the findings that I am about to expose you to came from an abandoned sanatorium, of which you would definitely expect to be on the haunted side of things.
Hello? Is anybody down here? Whoa. You see that? It's a ball, and it's perfectly placed right in that doorway. That's weird, isn't it? Did you put this ball here? They say that a child has been heard running down this hallway. Is that you that they're hearing? Why don't you tell me your name? My name is Ian. If you're in here, could you move this ball? Holy! That was loud. Okay. Thank you for making that noise. Scary noise at that. Could you make another sound? Oh my god, this kid is aggressive. What the hell? Is it even a kid at all? I don't know. That sounded like a kid. Where did that come from? This room? In here? I don't know. I don't know, but it sounded high pitch. High pitch like a child. Go!
It was said that a child haunted this section of the building, and after hearing some mysterious and aggressive noises, Ian was beginning to doubt whether this was a child at all. However, just after making this inquiry, vocal, a child's voice could be heard from further down the corridor, as if it was trying to confirm to Ian that it was a kid. At the end of the corridor, as the exit to get out of the sanatorium, Ian came to terms with leaving the place. He had gathered a lot of YouTube content, and it was more than enough to garner a good view count, but the child made it known quickly that it did not want him to leave.
It's gone quiet down here, so I think I might call it a night and just leave a camera down here for the rest of the night. Because right when I was talking about leaving too, what the hell? I guess they don't want me to leave. Well, let's investigate some more. Are you down here? Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. I just saw a shadow over there. Excuse my language, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to curse, but damn. It was short, like a kid. Holy moly. I don't want to frighten you. In reality, you're frightening me. Hey, do you want to be friends? Don't you get lonely down here? I'd be scared to be down here if I was a kid. Hell no. Where are you right now? Make a noise where you are. Got a weird feeling in this room. Oh shit! Holy shit! That was a shadow. That was a shadow. This just passed right by my camera. Holy.
Not only did it close off the exit, but it cast a shadow for Ian to see, which was clearly meant to frighten him more. The shadow was clearly that of a child and did its job of spooking out even the most experienced of ghost hunters, forcing him to flee the facility. Louise was home alone one night waiting for her husband, Michael, to come home from work. She was getting rather frustrated because he had got stuck in a traffic jam, and she hated sleeping when she was the only one in the house due to some past experiences with break-ins, so she was forced to stay awake. When it got to roughly 10 p.m., she called her husband again to see if there was any progress in advancing through the traffic, but to her dismay, there was none. This is when Louise decided to record a short video explaining the situation to her friends to gain comfort from them, but roughly halfway through this happened.
Don't like it. I'm damn fucking wake up. I hate it. Fucking bollocks. Fucking bollocks.
For some reason, the bottle of alcohol had a mind of its own and decided to start shaking on the table. Despite being scared, at first Louise was not frightened enough to flee the scene, but immediately after the bottle collapsed, she was certain that some form of entity was messing with it. She fled the house and visited her mother before sending the clip to Michael. He posted it online. Most people tend to be fearful and cowardly when it comes to encountering a spirit, but the man in the following video was the complete opposite and took absolute control of the situation. He was relaxing in his living room one day as calm as he could be and had just finished eating dinner when suddenly he noticed something. An item on the table beside him had supposedly moved on its own accord. Instead of being a coward and running away from the scene though, he filmed this.
Do it again. Move it again. Holy shit. Holy shit, holy shit, holy shit. Holy shit. Move it again. There can't be no fucking quiet. I'm fucking a little bit freaked out.
As I said, this man was not a coward and took the complete amount of control in this scenario. He asked the ghost in a commanding voice to do it again several times, and to his fortune, the spirit listened. It goes to show that the way you carry both yourself and your voice makes a huge difference on how you are treated, even when it comes to ghosts. In the following video, Kyle, a student fresh into university and new to the living alone lifestyle, was relaxing in his flat when he started to hear some screams. When I say a scream, I mean the loudest and most excruciating scream you can imagine, and it terrified him. At first it sounded like the sound was coming from the outside out of concern. Kyle went to the window, and if he saw anything suspicious, he was going to call the police. Little did he know that he was about to find out that the noises were coming from within his own four walls.
No, I swear to God, there was like some... What the f*** is that? What the f*** is that? You gotta be kidding me! Who goes there? Who goes there? That shit cannot be real. What the f***? You gotta be kidding me. What the f*** was that? You gotta be kidding me. Oh, You gotta be messing with me. I swear to God, this gotta be a joke. Whoever's in here, I command you to leave in the name of Jesus Christ. I ask you to leave now. Oh, I got adrenaline going right through my body. What the is that? Ah, shit! Shit! What the who goes there? You gotta be kidding me. Wasn't this shit close? Oh, oh shit. What the is that? Guys, you gotta be kidding me. Oh shit. What's the fucking thing? Oh, I'm getting a headache badly. I'm getting a fucking headache badly. Oh,
There is absolutely no word out there that would accurately describe how confused Kyle was by this event, because no matter where he looked in his house, the screaming girl could not be found. When he went into a certain room, it sounded as if she was right next to him, but of course, this was not the case. Around 10 minutes after the screaming stopped, the police arrived at Kyle's apartment and conducted a full search because all of his neighbors had reported it in fear that Kyle was harming people. But after showing them the video, they believed that he was innocent. But this was not the end. Kyle went about a week with nothing happening inside of his home, and he was starting to believe that the event was just a one-time phenomenon that he would be able to forget about and move on from. This was nothing but a wish, though, because after this peaceful week, the poltergeist made another appearance.
What the Oh, What the What the Alexa! Stop the music! Alexa, stop! What the In the name of Jesus Christ, I ask you to leave this house right now. What the Who goes there? Somebody's in there, you better come out right now. I got a knife on me right now. Come out right now. Ah! In the name of Jesus Christ. I ask you to come out. Who's in here? Who's in here right now? You better come out.
This time, some demented laughter was used to lure Kyle into the screaming, and the neighbors were once again concerned. This time, the police gathered all sorts of evidence to try and prove that Kyle had done something evil to a woman that night, but no matter how much they scrounged the building, nothing was found. It is reassuring knowing that the forces cared this much, and equally as good that Kyle was not falsely prosecuted. On November the 30th of 2020, during the coronavirus pandemic, everybody was home alone, doing their own thing. The majority of people were completing their work from laptops or rotting away on their gaming consoles, but not Austin. In fact, he was rather bored. He was retired, so he had no job, and he knew about as much when it came to technology as you know about the engine of a Fiat 500, my point being nothing. However, he knew how to record, and that skill came in handy when something mysterious started happening inside of his house. The cupboard opened and closed continuously, and using his brain power, Austin knew to record the cupboard to make it evident that nothing was making this happen. He did a good job at this, and you would be a fool to claim that a visible force was acting upon this object, so that leaves one solution that you all know. This was a paranormal encounter. Austin sent the video to his family group chat, and it was posted to social media by one of his relatives. We have no updates, so all we can do is hope that Austin is okay. One thing that comes with social media is trends, and these things can go from harmless dances such as the Renegade to deadly and manipulative games like Blue Whale. Well, what if I told you that there was a small-scale trend on the internet called The Sky is Blue, and here is how it goes. It is a paranormal game where the person playing is supposed to recite the words to a poem and then pan the camera into a doorway. It was supposed that after panning into the doorway, you would see a face, whether it be clear or a faint image. And one day, a woman wanted to test that. This is how that went.
The sky is blue, and I see you. 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 The sky is blue, and I see you.
It took several attempts, and we have to admire how courageous she was for doing this. Her persistence must also be mentioned, because despite failing several times, she kept reciting the final lines of the poem. At the final doorway, something fell from the roof, and this not only frightened, but confused the woman. The trend was supposed to reveal a face, and not just a paranormal event, so it made no sense as to why the real thing didn't happen. But I guess life has many mysteries, and this is just one of them. Mark and Sarah both lived in a small house together and were finally in the stage of life that they wanted to be in. Sarah was pregnant with their first child. Mark had proposed to her, and they were both earning incomes, which made them more than stable when combined. It was the life they had both dreamed of having together, until they realized their rented house was likely haunted. Day in and day out, they would hear mysterious noises, and whenever they went to investigate, something would be different in the room, such as a misplaced ornament. Well, this time, something different happened when Mark went to investigate, and he was lucky enough to catch it on his camera.
I heard the noise again from back here. I heard the noise again from back here. Holy shit.
What? What is it?
Sarah, come look at this.
What?
Look at this. Look at the
The kitchen drawer slowly opened, and it was clear that nothing made this happen. Mark called Sarah to let her know what had happened, and she was really freaked out with the fact that something actually moved in front of his very own eyes. They needed to get out of this place, and it needed to be soon. Now, you've all heard of the term baby steps, right? It's when you take something one small step at a time, and after a long period, the progress will have gone far. However, have you heard of the term ladder steps? No, because it doesn't exist. That would be a silly saying. because ladders aren't able to walk as they're not human, right? Well, this roadside construction worker proved this statement incorrect when his ladder made a run for it. It may have walked away at the speed of a snail, but a walking ladder is insane nonetheless. The worker who captured this uses it as a claim to fame and tells the story to every new ally that he comes across. It is safe to say that he was relieved rather than terrified by the incident. For the final clip, we are delving back into the ghost hunts of the star of the show on this channel, Ian, also known as the Midwest Ghost Hunter. Ian has been hunting spirits for several years now, and calling him a professional in this field would be an understatement. The following video took place in a haunted manor local to his house that he thought he might as well visit for some content. His expectations of the manor were low, but due to it being such a nearby location, there would be no loss in visiting. It turned out to be the right decision, considering his goal was to be haunted.
Come towards you, okay? Whoa. I'm hearing like tapping sounds on the wall. Is that you, Susie? She literally just tapped on one of these coloring pages. It was like this. It was one of those. Susie, I heard you really like coloring. Is that true? If so, could you move one of these coloring pages? I see you got a whole coloring book here too. Is this your favorite color book? Oh my god! Oh my god! She just flipped the page! What the What did I just witness? She literally just flipped the page on that color book. I cannot believe what I just seen. I cannot believe that. Susie? Did you just flip this page? Are these your favorite? Your favorite pages? I have got goosebumps on my goosebumps. Could you flip to another page? I'd like to see what else is in here.
It was clear that Susie's favorite coloring book was in fact that one, and she moved it in order to convey this. Now, unlike most spirits that have the intention of causing torment and suffering, for some reason, Susie seemed to just want company and taught Ian things about herself. This was on the least scary side of his encounters for certain. The following video was filmed in the kitchen of Daniel, a man who had recently divorced his wife. He was having trouble adapting to the lifestyle of living life by himself, but fortunately, he could cope with it. However, a spirit clearly wanted to make this struggle even more difficult, and did so by haunting the poor man. He had no belief or correlation to anything tied with the spiritual world, and you would not place money on him being a victim, but this is what happened.
Okay. I've seen this cabinet before, but it hasn't opened since the last time I recorded it opening, because I walked into the kitchen to the refrigerator and I was walking past it, and I got about right here, and it went and opened behind me and scared the crap out of it. Got my heart thumping, let's put it that way. Because you don't expect that sound as you're walking by and so close to you. But it hasn't opened since, and I can jump up and down and it won't open. See, I'm banging on the floor and it still won't open anymore. I don't know, that's weird. And the refrigerator's been making a god-awful noise. It used to make another god-awful noise, like the fan bearings were screeching, and it was just such a loud whistle. Sometimes I'd just unplug it. But sometimes I could unplug it and plug it back in and it would stop doing it. But now it's making this, whoa! Okay, see, I didn't even move. I wasn't even moving. That's the first time that's happened since the last time. Okay, it's got to be a bed bearing, but I wasn't moving. Look at that. It's closed, and there's nothing on the edge. There's nothing on the edge that would, like here on this edge, that would push it out. And there's the magnet clip. See, that snap's closed. Alright. Fuck, see? That's the freaking noise. Oh my freaking god. Alright. Creepy crap going on in the house. Oh, man. Alright. I just wanted to show you that. And I got both of them. Awesome. At the same time. Still closed. Nothing. Come on, open it again. Let me see you open it again. Come on. I'll even move around. Jumping up and down. Banging on the floor.
The first time this happened was off camera, as explained by Daniel, and it frustrated him that he was not able to capture it since. Furthermore, the other sound that I was unable to identify had also been bugging him, so both of these things added together definitely made him question things, to say the least. Regardless of his fear, he powered through this haunting until the end, and surprisingly, it stopped happening by itself out of nowhere. He was a very lucky man that this happened. The man who recorded our next clip has actually been in a haunter video before, and it was a very recent one on the channel. In this video, I explained that he had been living in the same home for 2 years, and prior to the clip that I showcased, not a singular out-of-the-ordinary event actually happened, making it odd that something did. This is why people believed the event would be a simple one-off scenario, and the house, and Ellen, would never encounter anything like this ever again. But to his dismay, these verdicts were wrong, and just 1 week later, this was captured. This time around, the event took place in his bedroom, and he heard clawing sounds coming from the wardrobe, which was what prompted him to record the incident. He is currently in talks with a ghost hunter to come and resolve his issues, but only time will tell if this is going to be a valid choice. Just like Ellen, Lean has also been seen knocking around on the channel recently, and his story just continues to get worse and worse. He was a strong believer in the paranormal and superstitions, and was thankful every night that nothing had happened to him. But one day, all of this thankfulness turned into fright. Whilst Lean was home alone, which he often was, a paranormal surge occurred, and this finally confirmed to him that all of these things that he had been buying into were in fact true. He quickly contacted an exorcist to resolve the issue, and after roughly a week, they managed to banish the spirit successfully, so you are probably wondering what happened after that. The truth is that we don't know, but several clips have emerged from the period whilst Lean was waiting for the exorcism, and here is another one.
3 de la mañana, me vine a la casa del campo, leí muchos comentarios que me recomendaban que me mude y me vine para acá para ver si el problema era yo, pero parece que me sigue porque se escucha, escuchando. Yo ya no, miedo ya no tengo. Y no hay nadie. El ropero de este es grandísimo, pero no es increíble, pero parece que me sigue. La verdad, no.
In this one, he heard banging from behind the wooden doors and knew that something was peculiar. This is what tempted him to start recording the incident, and thank the heavens he did, because he managed to gain even more evidence of his struggles. This spirit was far from a chill one, but at least we can be thankful that Lean does not suffer from it any longer. If any more clips from this period rise, though, I will be sure to include them in future content, so subscribe. On September the 5th of 2024, Antonio was in his son's bedroom waiting for him to finish his shower. The details of the reason are unknown for obvious reasons, but the baseline knowledge that we do have is that the child was in trouble and Antonio wanted to sit him down and have a chat. He was waiting for what felt like ages and ended up sitting there playing some mobile games when suddenly he sensed something. Eager to see what it was, he took out his phone camera and started filming, and what he captured was terrifying. Take a look. The toy of the Toy Story character, Woody, somehow moved without any human interaction, and it was clear that no form of visible force had acted upon it. This meant that it was either the wind or a spirit, and after checking the weather on that date in his area, the latter seems more likely. We often see ghost videos on this channel that have been captured through the use of CCTV or standard household security systems, and these tend to be some of the most extreme. This is because when a spirit knows that they are being watched through a camera lens, they tone down their actions to leave room for mystery, in order to not fully blow their cover. But how are they supposed to know that a hidden camera is staring at them? The video that you are about to watch was caught using one of these hidden security cameras used for parents to monitor their children at night, and what it managed to get on tape was pretty disturbing. Have a look. First of all, let's cover what actually happened in this clip. The child was innocently sleeping late at night when all of a sudden some form of poltergeist gripped him by the ankle and dragged him off from the bed. This was obviously disturbing because it is not every day that you get to see something like this, but on top of that fact, the victim was a literal child, which always adds a shame factor to the haunting. It truly was a tough watch. The following video was captured by a man called Komapip from Japan, and he is a well-known YouTube star in the country. His content revolves around the paranormal world, and the paranormal world only. So to say he has a lot of experience with poltergeists would be putting it lightly. He's beyond a level of expertise. In this video, he decided to visit a place in Nagasaki that was known for being a hellhole, and the people who entered rarely came out without some sort of interesting story to tell. And for Komapip, well, this was no different.
この全てがそのまんまな感じ。寝室か。勉強机。お子さんがいたのかな。お風呂ですね。物がね、山積みになってます。まあ情報通りあまり大きな家ではないみたいだけど、にしてもちょっと物が残りすぎてて逆に不気味だな。カレンダー、2007年4月、14年前からこの状態ってことですね。まあ確かに置いてあるものが時代を感じるというか、VHS だもんね。ちょっと待って足音がする。人がいる。人がいる。マジか。どうしよう。出るか。いやでも気づいてるはずだよね。こっちに。誰かいますか？もしここで寝泊まりとかしてるんであれば返事してもらってもいいですか？すぐ出ていきます。誰かいますよね？もしいらっしゃるんでしたら、壁とか叩いてもらったらすぐ出ていくんで。
I included quite a lot of his general exploration in this because I felt that it was important for you to get a feel of the haunted house, but towards the end, a stomp from upstairs could be heard. After this, Komapip stood silently at the bottom of the stairs, flashing his light up there in case of any sudden movement, but to his dismay, it never came. He did catch another paranormal event that night, though.
何もしないんで。え？ わりますよ。ちょっと。誰かいますか？いたらすぐ出ていくんで、何もしないんで。すげえもののこれ。誰もいませんか？これ。うわ、包丁？くそ。ちょっともうさ、いやマジで。誰かいますよね。いやもうちょっと待って、いや本当帰るんでごめんなさい。くそ。何もしないんで、脅かすつもりとかはないので。ちょっとだけ見て帰ります。くそ。足が悪い。誰もおらんちゃけど。
This time around, he found a terrible sight in a knife being inside of a table, and it was followed by the ding of a bell, which was likely the ghost attempting to make its presence known, and it did a darn good job. After this event, Comapip called it a day, and decided that he had garnered more than enough content for one day, leaving the vicinity. At 3 a.m., anything ghost-related can happen, and this is because it is what we know as the witching hour. However, some ways in which these ghosts express themselves can get very unique, and this happens on many different occasions, including one that I am about to show you. It happened whilst Val and her boyfriend were calling somebody, but to their dismay, the incorrect person picked up from the line and then all hell broke loose.
Hoy vamos a hacer llamadas de terror a las 3 de la mañana. Estamos en un hotel que supuestamente hay espíritus.
Se supone que aquí era un hospital antes.
Así que pueden pasar cosas. Continuamos con la llamada. Le estamos marcando otra vez. Bueno. ¿Te podemos ayudar en algo? ¿Ocupas ayuda? ¿Quién eres?
¿Qué pido, Valeria? ¡Cuélgale!
Le empezó a decir el nombre de Diego, creo.
Vale, ya.
No. Cierra, güey, neta, cierra. Cierra. Uy, no, túmbate el rollo, estoy marcando eso. Uy, güey, tengo miedo.
First of all, a demonic voice started playing down the microphone, and both Val and her boyfriend were justifiably frightened by this sudden evil sound. Next of all, though, the lights began to flicker, and it was all topped off with some sort of shadow figure standing through the peephole of the door. Out of fear, the couple went to sleep, hugging very tight that night. But the next day, with regained confidence, they sat down in the same area to see if anything would happen again. Did it? Well, watch and find out.
Oigan, no sabemos qué pasó. Literalmente, Diego y yo estamos solos en el cuarto. De madrugada no hay manera en la que haya sido otra cosa. Güey, nos están pasando cosas muy raras.
Ya apaga eso, vale.
Vamos a literal salir al pasillo porque están tocándonos la puerta horrible y ya tenemos mucho miedo. Vean, o sea, esto está...
Me siento raro, vale.
Los pasillos están... Espérate, no corras, espérate, Diego. O sea, vean los pasillos. Uy, no.
The lights flickered once again, and this time they both sprinted out of the apartment room. Unfortunately, the hauntings followed them to the outside, and after a long and hard thinking session in the car, they decided that it would be best to move to a new apartment complex. Joe and Heather were fast asleep late at night when all of a sudden they started to hear a noise coming from downstairs. Heather was really frightened and told Joe that she would not be investigating the sounds, so he was kind of forced to go and check. In order to reassure his wife, he acted brave and tough whilst he searched the downstairs, but to his dismay, he found nobody. This is when the following happened.
Alright. Kept hearing weird noises, and I know I'm not stupid here. Man, I don't know how much more I take this crap. All right, who's in here? I don't know, but this is freaking me out. Oh, shit. All right, who's there? Heather!
Hey. What is all that noise? I'm trying to sleep.
Get in here, hon. Get in here now. Get in here.
What's wrong?
Get in here. Let's go in here.
Hey.
Just get behind me. Get behind me. Get behind me. Come on, let's go in here. Come on.
The cabinets in the kitchen began to open and close without any human interaction, and it was clear that whatever was causing this had most certainly caused the sounds that woke the duo up. Joe was utterly terrified, and I am surprised that he was able to stay so composed in such a dire situation. It is something that we can only admire.